that Mo?
Yeah.
Okay, Nikolai, what were you... So at the beach this morning.
Yeah.
Okay. Try to remember everything. It happened very, very intensely.
Okay,
No
well.
pressure.
What happened?
Well, we started talking about... we were talking about Nikolai's question. He asked me a question. Can we talk about this?
Yeah.
Okay.
The information you received?
Yeah, so yesterday Nikolai messaged me and asked me what was the choice he made, because we talked about the information I told y'all about your parallel realities, right? And he wanted to know, because I had said it's because you made this choice in this timeline, in this reality that we're in, that allowed you to clear the karma from the reality of him being in the service.
And that was the ancestor, right? Was it or no?
That's him in a parallel reality.
Oh, okay, got it.
Are you cool with this?
Me in another form.
Exactly. So this is what...
Wow, okay.
So
Wild.
here's what we came to.
Basic.
All of this information came out. So
Wow.
our soul is a bunch of energy. Like, it's fully energy. So our soul resides in this body, and then multiple other ones, because it's just a vessel that holds the energy. We are literally just a vehicle holding the energy, a vessel holding the energy.
Yeah.
So what we do to this lifetime, and then the parallel realities also, is we're making choices, and every choice we're making is creating karma, like we talked about yesterday. So he asked me, what was the choice I made in this lifetime that cleared the karma for me in the body that has both genders? And I said, he chose his gender. This lifetime, in this timeline,
I did choose.
he chose.
Yeah.
He was
Instead of staying in that.
exactly instead of staying with both energies. Essentially, it's energy.
Right. You have the energies,
Yeah. So him choosing to be
choosing the sex, the gender. Yeah.
So because he made that choice, that high frequency choice, it rippled out and it cleared a lot of the low frequency energy that created a lot of those timelines, right?
Because he transitioned?
Right. Because in those other parallel realities, there's more than just this one. Obviously, that's connected to... Oh, God.
I made the choice to be aligned with my soul, who I felt I was.
Right. So you were born as a female, in a female body, but you always felt like a male, just like this other version of him, but isn't making that choice. This other version is stuck in a victim.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, so whenever he made the choice, I'm going to be a male, even though I was born in this body, then that ripples out. And what will happen eventually, the more he chooses himself over and over and over again, he'll dissolve that timeline.
Yeah.
So what we're here to do is literally take back our power
From
timelines after timeline. This is clearing karma. So every time we clear the karma, pull back our power from these other realities.
Absolutely.
Then
Was that obvious?
we become our highest self. We become our full energetic body, and we align ourselves. So exciting.
Full soul expression.
So what we were talking about is we, in this vessel right here, are the center of our own universe. You are the center of your universe, you're the center. And then what that does, so our choices are our responsibility. And every time we choose a lower vibration reaction to someone, we create lower vibrational timelines with them, or, for ourselves. And then what we do whenever we have all of these people who are actually their own little universe, imagine each one of us has circle, what did I call them?
Where did it come from, though? I asked that too.
Where did what come from?
Where I got that karma from. That I chose it. Oh, that's what you were saying, that I chose to come down and experience.
Right, because this is another part of it. So the lower dimensional energy that generator, that consciousness, or that energetic force, you know, the negative ETs, the matrix, whatever you want to call it, that force is extremely aware of the cycles that we're always continuously in this energetic force. It's just all energy, everything is. So they're extremely aware of it. So this is why they take cycles and then they put labels to them. So they knew about the cycle of gender coming in, the people that were gonna, because we're in our highest form. When we're in our highest form, we're in our highest frequency. There are no genders, right? But the only reason why we come to the earth plane is to experience things that we aren't experiencing anymore. This is the university that we created so that we could come back here and we could learn things that we don't experience anymore because we've evolved so far past that. So when we come here, Nikolai and a bunch of other people in your generation came here to learn about gender. Literally, it was like, that's like all of us who go into 5th grade, all of it, you know what I mean? So they all came in a cycle to learn about gender. And the lower frequency matrix knew about this. So what did they do?
They want to trap?
They trapped them with the labels.
Yeah.
So all of these people who are coming to learn this gender experience, they trapped them in it, and they hijacked that experience and used it in a lower frequency, used it in a matrix frequency.
Yes, instead of this.
Instead of everybody getting to evolve their soul, like what we're here for, that trapped them. Because labels are traps. The same, the same with the racism, the Black Lives Matter thing. Because there's a cycle where all of us who are operating in our highest frequency, our highest self, in our higher dimensions, there isn't race anymore. We're all equal. So these people, these people, or these souls, they come in cycles. The cycle was coming in to learn about racism, about how that is part of a lower dimensional trap. And so what did the 3D matrix do? Hijacked it. It hijacks our lessons because what that does is it siphons our energy and it keeps people down. And the reason why is for our evolution.
Yes, they keep us from
learning
these lessons that I'm learning.
Yes,
when I,
because you decided I'm not going to be a label.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be transgender. I'm just Nikolai. I'm enough.
Yeah.
And so because of this, you're evolving out of that trap.
Yeah.
Which is allowing you to see your soul instead of see yourself as a label. So much.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's so much to understand it that we create all of this. It's literally, everything is a university for us to learn from. But the way we learn is we have to recognize that there are challenges put in place from the 3D that siphon our energy. It's us having to evolve out of that. And there are so many people in this current timeline, in this lifetime that we're on right here in this human form, who will get stuck under that label. And then whenever this vessel expires, they'll come back in and start over in that same karma. So for instance, maybe you've already been, whenever that cycle was here before, there is no before and after. But whenever that cycle was somewhere, you were in it trying to learn this, and you got trapped in it. And that's where you created the timeline of the person who has both genders. And so this time, you're not allowing yourself to be trapped because you started off where you left off last time, which is stuck in the trap. So this timeline, you're evolving. Exactly. Everything is about evolution. Everything is about evolution, and everything is about energy. Manipulating energy is the same thing as clearing karma and creating high frequency timelines and removing low frequency timelines. Literally, that's the only reason we're here, is to evolve our consciousness, and so our souls are learning.
Can you say like that labels is one of the matrix, like the biggest weapon for separation?
Absolutely.
Disconnection from our soul.
Absolutely. Because even like I was saying earlier, you know, just the fact that a doctor has a label and they say you have to invest this many linear years to get this label, it's looked at as it's like a hierarchy if you have that. So whenever, and they did this perfectly, because the lower frequency, the lower dimension, they know that we're all naturally healers because we're all full of energy, so we can heal everyone.
Yeah.
We can all do that. But if they create a label, then they create a distraction from us being able to heal ourselves and others. So when people are like, you can't speak about that, you're not a doctor. Yeah, but I'm a healer. And I don't need a label and I don't need a bunch of school, and I don't need a bunch of programming to tell me that I have this ability, because we all have it.
Yeah.
But what the labels do is they keep us from going inside. Because if we're attached to an LGBTQ label, if we're attached to this label, a color label, a academic label, then we stay so obsessed with it that we cannot even see past that as our own identity.
Yeah.
So the whole time, it's feeding a lower frequency, because labels are lower frequency. It was a lot. What else did we talk about?
Oh yeah, how the consciousness of like
that's
the
right.
Matrix also.
Yeah, that's
have
where
the
I was going.
Timelines.
So because we're all I'm my own universe, and I have a bunch of timelines cycling around me at all times. Like I have 100 timelines. Let's go in. So whenever you take one universe and you put them all together, so if all of us together create a collective universe.
Collective consciousness.
And then that collective also has timelines based on everybody's consciousness projecting. So there's holograms, if you will, collective holograms that are continuously going around, that people have to collectively choose to be able to drop down those timelines and to release that energy. And that's why it's so powerful to make sure that the lower dimension created all of these systems. Because if all of these systems are preaching the same thing, then all of these people are ingesting the same thing and they have the same idea. So it'll continuously keep that lower dimension there.
And the collective as the collective also creating more of those lower frequency timelines.
Right. And so that's why it's like, if we understand, if we accept and surrender to the fact that we are all energy, and dimensions are layered of frequency, which is energy. It's just a vibration of frequency. Is a vibration of energy is what is frequency. So if we want to raise out of that lower dimensional frequency, we have to raise our own energy. So we have to take back our energy from all of these places where we've been given it out.
Yes.
So the only way we can do that is by having the awareness of where our energy is. And that's in so many different areas, in so many people, and their own, we're like just giving people energy to create timelines where we're karmically trapped to them. It's wild.
Yeah, so, because if we know our power, our own power, we don't need anything outside of ourselves.
Well, and then we're limitless.
Yeah.
Because when we know our power, we're creating our own energy force, and we are a force, which is raising the frequency. But if we aren't stepping in our power, if we're not walking and operating in our aligned power, then we're operating in someone else's power, and we're giving away our power. And that's why people are so depleted, and that's why people are so attached to their corporate job, because the identity is the label. Well, what am I without that?
And that's what gives us or them a sense of
false, like
energy.
Yeah, totally.
Like that gives them that energy.
Right. Just saying it, like, but I am this, or I have this much money. It's like, that is such a trap to identify yourself with that, because what those labels do is they keep us from going inside. If we aren't going inside and we're not harnessing our own power, then we're not creating beautiful realities. And if we're not creating beautiful realities, then we're going to be stuck in the matrix, and that's where they want it. I don't want to say that's where they want us, but that's where the collective shadow wants to be, because it's just the same as us. I'm my own universe. Whenever I used to enjoy identifying as a hardened bitch. I used to be like, no, I don't take shit from anyone. You don't mess with me. I used to just be like, my heart is cold. My soul is black. I identified with that. And so because of that, that's the energy I was creating.
You're feeding it more and
right.
more and more, creating more of it.
Oh, okay, here's what I was saying. So that's what I was projecting, so that's what I was receiving. So everything we are, we project it through our consciousness and we create more of it. And it's because I didn't want to step in my power. I wasn't ready to step in my power. So I held on to my shadow, I held on to my darkness. But now that I've stepped into my power and I've gone in and I really shine light completely on all my darkness, now I'm in the light. Now I'm in truth. And if the collective would choose, if each person individually would choose to shine light on their darkness, then the 3D hologram would just dissolve. But everyone would have to choose that. That's why our outside matches our inside. That's why so many places are getting so dark during all of this, is because every single thing that is happening right now in the external world that we're viewing on a, hearing about, whatever, is a reflection of the collective shadow. And the reason why the collective shadow is being so brought to light, because for everyone to ascend fully, everything has to be brought to light. Everything. So that's why all of this is just purging out of the collective all of these fears. The fear of being in camps and cities, and the fear of not taking vaccine and killing people, the fear of taking it and dying, and all of it. It's anything connected to this current global whatever situation. If you're feeding into it in any way with your energy, I fear vaccine or I fear taking vaccine, you're feeding it. So the best thing to do is if we just disconnected from it and didn't put any energy in it at all, it would dissolve. That's like, it seems like it's unattainable because of where we are right now. But every new day, every new sunrise, more and more people are waking up to the reality that, like, I have to take back my power. I have to reclaim my power. And that's because they're so depleted. And it's like, I mean, I hear it all day on TikTok and stuff, like, what can I do? And that is enough, that awareness that people want to know, how can I reclaim my power? How can I step in my power? How can I be at a higher frequency? And that awareness alone is going to get us there. But the best thing to do is to be completely in alignment of a high frequency energy. And that's like, we even have in the spiritual community a lot of not truthful information about, like, especially the chakras. Chakra is an energy pillar. We have so many energy pillars that we're connected to. This heaven place is the highest consciousness. We're connected to this.
There's higher chakras too, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's not 7.
Yeah.
There's like so many.
Yeah.
And we have to be aligned to them. That means I have to stay in alignment with speaking my truth so that my throat's open. I have to stay in alignment with seeing through the illusion, which is going to activate my third eye and keep my third eye open. I have to keep my thoughts clear and only consume high frequency things, even if especially like TV and music, to keep my crown open. And then above that, there's another opening where you have to keep that open. And, oops, sorry, buddy. It's just, and it goes up and up and up, and it goes down, down, and down. So it's literally, we energetically are connected all the way up to this heaven place, which is consciousness, and down into Agartha, which is the inner earth. And inner earth is where a lot of our higher council hangs out. They're down there, and this is who is controlling the system we live in. Not the 3D matrix system, but the system of the mothership system. So you know how every spaceship has a control room? Ours is in inner earth. It's in the core. This is where when I have visions of inner earth, I literally see like many different style of stellar beings, aliens, walking around, performing their tasks, viewing us, controlling this, creating the clouds, because we have to have the clouds, or you wouldn't believe that there's a sky, because there isn't a sky, it's a firmament, and it's just a reflection of the water. And then they're controlling the water because you have to believe that the moon does it. There's just all these things that are going because we made our system this way, and it's so important for us to just surrender to all of the other distractions and just worry about ourselves.
Yes.
It's like if each one of us can just go in and take care of our own energy and not worry about how everyone else is affected by it, not worry about how people feel about us, because that's their situation, their perspective. We would all align ourselves, and all of these timelines would just dissolve. And then we personally would raise, which would make the collective raise. It was an intense morning at the beach.
I love that. Yes.
That's great.
This
It was
is
a
good.
lot.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, you want to see if there's some questions?
I wonder what they do for a living and how they get around labeling it.
Any good questions?
Hi, hi, Vibe Convos.
Araceli, ¿estás terminado? Okay, un momento. Talk to him, Nikolai. Tell him about yourself.
Hola.
Hola, Araceli.
Todo bien, dice Nicolás.
Todo bien. Todo bien.
Todo bien, todo bien.
I can just listen to her talk all day. Me too. She has very good information. You enjoying the jungle and beautiful company? Yes, I am. We all are. It's the best place. So can we learn more info about chakras she was talking about? I actually don't know that much about chakras.
Google, they're just higher dimensions, they're just energy pillars.
Yeah.
Google's there.
Someone said, "Oh, you are shy."
Nah.
Yeah, it's a bit new for me, doing lives and... You done transformed into a man. Matrix is real. Well, I wouldn't say I transformed into a man. I would say I was born in a female body, but I always felt that my soul felt like a man. So that's more how I look on it.
I want to talk about that label question now.
That I changed some stuff on my body to make it feel more aligned with whom I am as a soul.
Come here, Zoom. Okay. Let me answer that question about how they get around not talking about labels.
Okay.
Because we aren't those labels. We all have superpowers. We all have strengths that if we were not connected to a label that the society told us that we needed to have, we would be able to express ourselves knowing our strengths. So for instance, I don't call myself anything. I just, when someone asks, what do you do? I just tell them, I make everything more beautiful. I offer guidance to people who are on their ascension journey. You know, I'm not this. This is what I do. These are my superpowers. So you know, I offer healing for people who this, and that. I offer energetic healing. If there are ways that we can reframe our, how we speak about ourselves, and the more we reframe that, we'll reach a higher frequency, because we are not what that label is. We're more than that, and labels prevent us from really realizing that. Anything else good?
Shit.
No. It's been okay, people want to know about the chakras.
Yes.
Well, let's call them what they are. Chakras are energy pillars through our body, because the most important information is to realize that we are energy. Our soul is an energetic source, and it resides in this vessel and many other vessels, other forms. All we are in the body is a vehicle for this energy. So for our energy to operate at its highest expression, we have to be aligned completely. And the way to do that is to unlearn the things that blocked all of these areas. Like I was saying, you have to speak your truth in light to open your throat. You have to see, you know, through the illusion to open your third eye, all of that. And it goes down even more, you know, our heart chakra, you have to embody compassion, love, and grace, and you'll open your heart. And then, does it go solar? And then sacral? Solar and sacral, that connection is really all about like childhood, about our connection to our female portal. A lot of fear resides in these areas. So people who, like someone asked me earlier, like, or said earlier, I want to go to Costa Rica, but I'm so afraid of being killed and whatever, killed and kidnapped. And I'm like, must be a horrible way to live, to be so in fear. And I know what that feels like. Oh, this was a good topic, actually. Whenever I was 12, I was diagnosed with my first bleeding ulcer. And then from 12 to like, oh my God, like almost 30 probably, I was just constipated all the time. All the time. It was horrible. I always looked like I was 6 months pregnant. My stomach hurt. I could hardly eat things. And now I know that it was because I had so much fear. I had fear of the dark. I had fear of abandonment. I had fear of, you know, finances. I had fear of my entire family dying. Like, had all of these fears just so tight in my solar and sacral that it prevented me from releasing the energy through bowel movements, because everything is energy and we have to purge that energy. It's kind of like the same with belching. We purge these things that no longer serve us. And so since I have been on my healing journey, like hardcore for the last few years, especially moving here, I respect and honor my vessel in such a different way, where I only consume high frequency. I don't consume animal products. I don't consume alcohol or any substances. So I'm only pouring high frequency into my system. And I'm only pouring high frequency thoughts, feelings, beliefs, emotions into my system also. So I have super healthy bowel movements, and it's so, can I talk about yours?
Yeah.
On that topic, Nikolai, whenever he came here 2.5 months ago,
Yeah.
he really, you know, the food we eat here is very high frequency and organic, and the people who are new to that, that they don't have that. So it was the food, and he was kind of going through them pretty quickly, but more importantly, he's been purging lower frequency energy just all day, every day. We do so much healing that he's just getting that energy out of him, and it's releasing through our bowels. It's just how it goes. It's the same with crying. You know, we transmute our emotions and our energy through these tears. And whenever we're told when we're a kid, you know, don't cry, crying is weak, or men don't cry, or dry it up was a big one in my family. We create these blockages, these energetic blockages, and these energetic blockages get trapped inside this vessel. Our vessel is simply here to house our energy and to be a messenger for us. So anytime our body is telling us it is sick or something's wrong with it or whatever, and pain, it's energy. It's a blockage of energy, and it is our responsibility to hear the message from our body and to take action into doing what we need to do to clear that energy, to purge that energy, or to heal that energy. I don't even remember what the question was. Oh, chakras. So the best thing we can do is be very attuned with our energetic body and meditate. You can meditate and see, you know, the sun essentially coming through your chakras and activating all of your chakras. Down, there's a knee chakra, there's ankle chakra, there's a chakra that lies just below your feet. That's why it's so important to put your feet in nature and ground, because that energy is where the friction is. There is a chakra just under Mother Earth. Why was that weird? All the way down, like I was saying. So the best thing to do to align yourself is to vision the sun coming through you and connecting you completely and opening those pillars of energy, and be mindful of it. You know, if you feel, whenever we get a gut feeling when we're around someone, that's energy. It's our solar plexus saying, like, this person isn't safe, or this situation isn't safe, and we need to listen to that, because energy does not lie. If you feel a certain way in your heart, it's either, you know, there's no good or bad. It could be low or high frequency. It's a message. It's always a message. For me, before I started speaking my truth, as much as I do now, whenever I would try to share emotions, I'd go, and it was like, get it together, woman. But it was because my throat wasn't aligned. Hi, Zuna. I'm so happy to see you. You were eating compost from our property. Special. And the more I use my third eye, there's a really good practice. You can kind of zone in, get your eyes to zone in front of you, and you'll almost see double. But before you get real crossed, you just zone into that, and then you'll see into more frequencies and more energies. It's really fun to do. Venga. It's fun to do looking into nature, like we did this the other day with a tree, and just getting to see the energy coming off of the tree is very healing and very satisfying for our energetic body. Yeah. Let's see what else. Oh yeah. Someone, I don't know what they're talking about, said it would explain the lack of melanin in white people because Mars is further from the sun. I don't know how that has anything to do with it, but that's also just false information. Everything you learned about where these planets are, planes of existence, you shouldn't really do your own researching through internal, like personal meditation and asking your higher counsel and your higher self for that information. But the reason why white people exist is through lack of melanin and being afraid of the sun, through the program telling us that the sun is bad. We stopped worshiping the sun, we stopped being in the sun through all of this because we all started out much darker. That's why there is a racism war. That's why that is there, because we all came from, our skin was much darker, and that's where we had the most power. So for us to have that power, the more power we accept in ourselves, the easier it is for us to tan as well, and we don't burn as much. How can you talk to your guides safely? Yeah, she said she's scared to give birth in a hospital, so give birth at home. We've been doing this so many lifetimes. You can just give birth by yourself. I was at an unassisted birth, and it was fantastic. I was just thinking about this. I wondering if you know. It's why white people are in power, because they're older. They've already been through it on Mars. No, white people are not in power. That's where you guys are giving away your power. This is the thing, is nobody has power over us. Nobody has power over you. Nobody has power over me. They just make you think that, and you listen to them. There is nobody in power, y'all. We've given our power away for so long to these people who create this facade that they have control over us. Nobody does. It's a free plane of existence. It's just people have so much fear because they live in a lower vibration that they would rather have someone controlling them than being in control of their own life, because that requires responsibility and it requires stepping into your power. And people are extremely afraid of their power, because if we all knew that we could walk on water, that we could heal ourselves and others, if we could create a reality just by our consciousness and by believing it and envisioning it, which is exactly what I've done, if we all knew that, nobody would be in power, because they are just part of our shadow. Avatar is not about how Martians came to Earth. Avatar... Holy Jesus Christ. I'm just taking a breath.
Need anything?
Avatar is about a docking station, which is Mothership Earth. Avatar is a very good depiction of our highest expression. Whenever we are working in our highest expression, it has nothing to do with Mars. When we are working in our highest expression, we have the ability to do all the things that the Avatar characters did. All of those movies are documentaries, y'all. And not documentaries in the way that that they blatantly put in front of you. You have to decode these things, just like you have to decode the Bible. It's all there for us, but we have to use our own consciousness to decide what's real, what's true. And truth comes from inside. You'll feel truth. It feels different. You need some water, buddy? You can learn more about all of this that I'm talking about by signing up to my newsletter. It's on my website. It's linked in my link tree in my bio. And you'll hear a lot of it. And I think someone's creating me a podcast.
Let's go.
So that'll be coming soon. I wonder what they do for a living and how they get around labeling it. So, God forbid you get into a car accident. Are you going to a doctor or a healer? God forbid I get into a car accident. I've healed myself from many things. So I agree with Western medicine when it comes to surgeries and things like that. I don't agree with Western medicine when it comes to big pharma. Just care about people instead of hating them, which is why it's called practicing medicine. All right, let's see. How to deal with the energy when you are on here. I think maybe you mean on TikTok. I don't deal with the energy. I just stay in my own energy, and I don't allow other people's projections to affect my aligned energy. Someone said, can you shapeshift? I think so. I'm so glad you're learning so much. How do people know how to energetically latch onto my chakras and take energy? People will take, they're called energy vampires. If you allow them to do that, they will. But if you don't allow people to siphon your energy, then they can't. Okay. All right. It's been fun, y'all. I will add this to my YouTube. Follow my YouTube and Instagram because I've been talking a lot about some stuff on my TikTok and I just stay connected. You can follow my YouTube, you can follow my Instagram, and then sign up for my newsletter on mamaeshell.com. Do you believe we will all be one people one day? That would mean that I believe in future and past, and there is no future and past. In parallel realities, we all are one, you know? We're all one. We just have to believe that because we're all energy. Everything is energy.